gonna run upstairs. Thanks.
What did he say he was gonna do?
Sure, next question.
I'm just gonna move along until I get stopped. Any public comments? Welcome.
Thank you,
to
sir.
Village Software.
No, I see what I wanted to talk about here in the agenda, upcoming events.
Okay, fantastic. Order of business, any deferrals, additions, or deletions?
Yes, sir. Could I'm looking here on old business, I don't see it, the Veterans Park, but as a standalone, can we put the, maybe as a seven, E, the Battlefield Cross? I see Veterans Park, but I don't see, and I know we've got a few things going on with that, but I wanted just as a standalone
Sure.
for record-keeping purposes.
I guess I don't know if we'll be a separate thing on this one. Yeah, 7 E, Battlefield calls.
Okay. Thank you.
Please review the minutes that are attached from our August meeting.
I think that we have a correction on B2. I didn't identify the conflict.
Which one?
The reindeer run proceeds to go to Storytime, Veteran Story Hour. That wasn't me.
Yeah, that wasn't her. Yeah, second page, page 7. Yeah, B2. No, in your minutes.
In the minutes.
I think that came from Jonathan that told us that the town attorney said something.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Jonathan.
there it is.
We can say town liaison.
Oh, okay.
Should be town liaison.
But where are we with the scholarship stuff? We're gonna talk about that.
These are great minutes, Bill, I gotta tell
They're
you.
huge.
Awesome job.
I'll tell you
No,
what,
we're gonna go through that. I think.
when you guys meet, it's not hard to record. Especially when everybody's talking.
Okay.
Good evening.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from August 23rd?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Seconded by Larry Warman. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Old business, Reindeer Run 2023 Subcommittee Update. Judy, long time no talk.
But he was here. We have almost a finalized sponsorship package. We just spoke in the subcommittee, so you may have just gotten an email from Jonathan. We're going to update the silver and bronze to be able to include materials in the packet. That should hopefully come tomorrow, so then we can all get busy and start trying to pick up sponsors. If anybody knows of any companies that are interested in sponsoring the event, the only thing is there's exclusivity in the automotive. That's the only space that the title sponsorship offers as exclusivity. So other than that, if you guys have any other companies, we are more than welcome and open to having a more diverse mix of companies. Last year was really fun. We had everything. We had the floor and decor was really cool. That came out of the woodwork and they were great. So again, if anybody, I mean, it's nice to have fitness. I think fitness really makes a lot of sense. But I mean, if a sponsor's gonna get exposure and they're trying to build a business in town, I think it's a great opportunity to bring in some more revenue. It is probably, it's more than half, it's well more than half the sponsorship money.
All right.
So, it's definitely a good endeavor to get that. get that word out and trying to pick up some more sponsors. There's just one for the, Fun Zone, which I can't remember, last year was, I think it was Affordable Auto Glass, and I don't think they're addicted to having that, so
The
it's,
Fun Zone,
who had Fun, do you remember
I
who had
think it
Fun?
may have been affordable.
I think it was affordable, and then, they're fine, they don't need it, they'll do anything. I think the Fun Zone would be more like one of those local ones that are always at all these events, like, the one that's the kid's house, somebody's house, I don't remember the name of that school, I think it's over.
Yeah, it's the one for the kids with Down syndrome.
Yeah, the
and severe
disabilities, yeah,
autistic.
yeah. Something like, I think they would
Yeah,
be
Something's
more
Playhouse.
matched well, yeah.
Gigi's Playhouse.
Gigi's Playhouse, yeah.
Gigi's Playhouse.
Something like that would probably be more matched with a Fun Zone, just because it would disconnect the kids to the relevance of the sponsorship, but,
I volunteered there.
oh,
I
cool.
literally just came.
Cool. So it's an opportunity. We do offer booths to nonprofits, so if anybody has any nonprofits that will be relevant to come out and have a spot, have a tent, we're open to that too, so just to make, just make it a more robust event for our participants when they're finished, some that do like to come and go around to the tents. Ideally, if they have something to give away, I think it brings people to walk over and see what it is. Jonathan is, working on a flyer. We are talking about the dates when we're going to release billboards. So I have, Clear Channel has committed to give us some some pro bono billboards. And as well, there's a brand new billboard that's right over by our dealership. It's a private company right now. I think we're gonna get some space on that too. So we were talking about ideal time when to pop up some billboards. The subcommittee discussed with Jonathan, mid-November is the last push one, and then potentially maybe we can get one in October. Just to, like the initial, hello, this is happening, and then we'll get that last push at the end. But I'm gonna ask my marketing company, but if anybody has suggestions, very welcome to receiving them. We're working on the Miami Laker to try to get Bill's gonna
Yeah.
communicate with them so we can get some lift there. And if we have to place an ad, how do we allocate for
I
that?
have a pricing schedule.
Maybe that's what everybody's waiting for, ad, how much is a small ad?
They're expensive.
It depends on how many you want to run.
Do they give a discount to stuff like this, that's like town stuff, that's charity stuff, no?
But they do have a community calendar section.
Okay,
That you can just list it on. I don't think they charge any money for
No,
that.
not
We
for
have
that.
our American Legion stuff on it, so.
alright, so we'll at least get on the community calendar, do we wanna maybe take it to a vote to see if we wanna allocate any, how much is the,
I'm gonna forward the rate sheet. I can give you some examples though,
okay,
very quickly.
Jonathan, talk to Gina and she can talk to her.
Oh, no, we try to go through her for,
Gina
because we
wants-
put an ad in the Laker for a survey that we're doing, regarding events in the town. And we pay the standard rate, so, for example, I have Paige, in color, just to run it 1 to 3 times, again, you get a discount the more times you run it. It's $7.95 per,
ooh, okay.
yeah, per
They're
issue.
pricey.
Well, my rental, we actually did just place an ad, and I'll talk to my rental department, place an ad, maybe we can sneak something in his ad.
In years past, I know, when we had the races and we had the parade, those were all flag retirement ceremonies, those were all town events, and they were on the Lakers. I don't remember everything.
Yeah, I think it's weird, because we don't dictate how they post, since they're a private. If they wanna cover an event and front page it, that's totally up to them, and it would be free to us. But for us, the survey, to them, it was not oppressing the front page, a second page.
It's a town event, and that's the paper
Right.
of the town.
So it would, if we send her
Never paid in
our,
the past.
we send her our run of events, 2-ish months ahead of time, so that they can post it in the community calendar. Again, that's another free one that they do, but for a specific advertisement, and you're taking up space in the community advertisements, then it's $1 amount. That's what to think about.
Yes, and something like this, especially with the town that's gonna be benefiting from it as well, from all the runners coming in, and maybe staying and spending money in it.
And then like the sponsors can also push out on their Facebook and their own social, so I think that's a good thing, so maybe you'll make a frame for that. I'll put it on ours. we're waiting on some details on the podium and barricades. I don't know if everybody got to see that. I'm gonna dig into it in a sec. So bad. I don't know, did everybody get to see this,
Yeah, it looks
Isle
great.
found that, so they're looking into getting some finalized pricing for it, just to have a nice podium for our winners. And, waiting, Jonathan's gonna propose some artwork to get on those billboards. And, yeah, I think that's about all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, actually, this should be from 2022. Ranger Run proceeds allocation from 2022. Update on combat veterans outdoors. I presented that to the Legion. And I got crickets. I got no response. A problem we're having is so very few folks qualify. You know, they don't have a combat action or combat infantry or combat action badge. But they could also be first responders. So the combat veterans outdoors. Go ahead.
There's a lot of veterans, okay, and I bring this up again, that don't have combat action badges, but they were, in fact, there's Navy Seabees, they were out there and getting shelled and mortared and everything, and they were out there, they may not necessarily have gotten a Purple Heart, but they were out there in combat, and many of them been wounded, and they were out there endangering their lives. A lot of
If they're
branches
winter,
of the
they'll have a
military-
Purple Heart and they'll be eligible and they'll
Well,
have
if
a
they,
combat action.
how many combat action badges actually sat in the base camp? There are plenty of them, I can tell you. So what I'm saying is there are a lot of people that were in combat that didn't necessarily have the badge. That's all I'm saying.
No, and I agree with
That's
you,
not
but
our
it's not
rules.
it's not my rule.
It's not
It's
our
not my
rules, it's
rule,
theirs.
it's their
It's
rules.
Their
theirs.
rules.
But,
Oh,
okay,
I
so I
understand.
guess my
Okay.
point is, we better come up with a plan B, because I think this plan A is not gonna, ripen with any real takers.
Can it be anyone that has been or deployed? Can that be?
That's not what their qualification is. This organization is just very particular.
Sure.
I mean,
I know it.
and it's sort of like, and I'm thinking, well, there's other worthy causes. We'll come up with that later. It's not for us to solve, but just think about it, and then when we come back, next month, have a recommendation. That's all I'm asking. We don't have to sort it out right now. The second issue is on Veterans Park.
Can we just, what about for this year, are we gonna do the scholarship, is
We're
that?
doing the
is that a deal?
scholarships. I remember I sent Jonathan, I sent you guys, and I don't know how many people I sent it to. I think I sent it to everybody, but I'm not sure. A sample, like, taken from
I see.
what Graham's company did as far as their application form was. I think Ed said, hey, just, copy that. And I adjusted it to include, veteran information, because we're giving you really the award for the scholarship. We're talking about for our next coming year, we're gonna be giving,
This run.
this coming year, we're giving basically a senior who is, I forget the family relation to a veteran. Basically has to be a member of the household or something like that, or.
A dependent.
A dependent, yeah,
Dependent.
of the veteran. Some money, and the question becomes how much money? Well, it depends on how many people we have apply, So, there could be, if only one person applies, they get a windfall. If 10 people apply, we divide it up by 10, So we did up, I did up I don't know if I sent it to everybody.
No, it was Larry.
I
and
know
Judy.
Larry.
Are we approved by the town to do it?
I believe the scholarship is approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. I told them,
Okay.
I briefed them on in the last meeting.
And they were good?
And they were good on a lot of things. That's what I'm gonna get to as well.
Oh, okay.
So, but okay, so I didn't send it to everybody, and I apologize. I thought I.
What we agreed to last meeting was after lengthy discussion, a motion was made by you and seconded by Pedro to create a 2024 scholarship fund to be awarded to eligible high school senior applicants, children of veterans, including active duty military and National Guard personnel
Yes.
living in Miami Lakes and for the 24-25 school year. The motion was passed.
Okay, and okay, so let's take a look at the application form. Can you go back down, please? So I kind of drafted this up, copying stuff off of the Graham Company Scholarship Fund, but also kind of adding the stuff that we need. So we have the name of the student, the name of the veteran, the relationship of the student to the veteran, son, daughter, stepson, stepdaughter, branch of service of the veterans, years served, address of the veteran student. Are you a resident of Miami Lakes? Yes, no. Date of birth of the student, high school. Scroll back down, please. Checklist, please attach the following: proof of residency, meaning, you know, they show us that they live in Miami Lakes, have Miami Lakes address. Proof of veteran service, DD 214, or copy of active duty or active reserve ID card, and signature of veteran, signature of student. I'm trying to keep it simple.
I love
okay?
it.
Next one down. Scroll down, please. Anything else? Okay.
We need a due
Okay,
date.
student, yeah, yeah, and that's it, we need a due date, by, that's what we need. So, let's decide a due date,
Oh, let's do that.
okay? Because we gotta put this out there like now.
Yes.
Because we have to go through the process and see,
Yes.
and end up and see if we have, what we have, how many we
So,
have.
let's,
When is the race?
December ninth.
December 9th, so it should be after December 9th,
Oh, I'd say before September.
Before the race.
before the race,
Oh,
so
yeah.
December 8th,
Yeah.
last day? Or the day of?
How about like the week before?
Yeah.
Well,
How about by like 12/1?
I think, are you, is it because you're worried about like getting it by the date of the race? I don't think we're bound to that.
Yeah, because they may get word later that they're eligible for it.
So that's, I see.
And I mean, it's not a race thing, it's a
Right.
scholarship thing. I mean, the person who does it, doesn't have to be in the
In the
race.
Yeah, yeah.
So are they gonna announce it at the?
So the question becomes,
Right, I
when
think
do we
that's
want
what-
Can we
to,
announce it
I think
again?
that
No,
before
when
it's
did you-
lit?
or in
That's
the
a good
race.
idea, actually.
Or for the race announcement.
when will we be able to present the checks, the money?
When would we know how much money we have?
And yeah,
Well,
when
it
we
took us
know,
till
when we'll have the
June this
accounting
year to find out.
and.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, wait, so what day was that?
That's
How long did it
appropriate
take
to
us?
know.
It took 5 months,
It took 5 months, okay, so that's.
4 or
pretty-
5 months, April or May, we
Before
know.
we
we
even
had-
knew how much money we had.
We knew how
so-
much money we could cut in March, that Reindeer Run 5K Word document.
Okay, so but it takes them 5 months to figure it out.
But do we need to know how much we're gonna give? Can't we just identify the winners at
Yeah,
the race?
oh.
Or whatever.
No,
We,
no,
I
it's not
love,
winners.
good
I don't
idea,
know.
announce them, announce again, did it, we're,
Right, announce it,
so that we get even more
Right.
at the race,
What I'm
we'll
saying
get
is
some more
whenever you
people, 'cause if
announce
we're
it,
short,
yes.
it's gonna be, that'll give us
get
some
more people in there.
Yeah, part of the race.
I like that.
Okay, so-
Commission
We'll
is
have a,
proceeds from the race will be
Right.
awarded to,
So let's make it,
Yeah, a
the
scholarship
end of
for-
January then. That way they heard her one more time at
So
the
by
race.
March?
then by March, we'll be able to
March
give out
we know.
checks.
And by March, we'll be able to figure out what we have, and then by,
So the Graham Scholar, they cut applications April 7th.
Just so it's.
You can
yeah,
imagine-
but ours,
it's a-
but
it's a-
ours is tied to an event. Ours
it's
is tied to an event. Ours is tied to the race.
Yeah.
So I say January, we cut the application day. I'm just gonna propose a day, give me a day in January, end of the month.
I don't, if I may, I don't think we don't have to cut it that early.
When can we use it as advertising to announce the winners? And so,
Yeah.
You get what I'm
about one of our
saying? When
events
do
for
we start,
2024?
right, when do we start that process again? And that's when I think we should announce the winners, kind of bring everyone back.
What do you mean,
But
According to
before
my
the school year's
plan.
over, so it can be presented in
Well,
the
of
school.
course, before the school year, but,
Okay, so we're before June.
But it wouldn't really be winners, right?
right,
They're just whoever
yeah, they
qualifies.
qualify.
Right.
Because you're not, and then if you end up with $5,000 and you have 50 people, each person's gonna get $100, or, I mean,
Yeah,
at
pretty
some
much.
point, there's diminishing returns, there's no point
that's
giving them
my point.
anything.
I'm not
Shouldn't there
sure
be a
how,
cap?
There better be at least
Well, I don't know, but what I'm saying is,
10.
if you guys get $25,000, right? And then 50 people apply, it's less than $1,000.
Yeah.
And it
It's
takes
still
them-
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but,
better than nothing.
It's-
yeah.
And
I know, I mean, it's a quarter-page application. To get $500? I don't know.
What I'm saying, there should be, if they're getting a $25 gift certificate, then that
No.
probably isn't worth the squeeze.
I will
Right,
be
right.
surprised if we have that many high school kid age.
Of veterans.
Right.
Of veterans.
Yeah.
That's true too.
Remember, now we're talking about the 1% folks.
Right, you're
But
right.
this is a college scholarship, or
This is
just
a-
giving them
just
money.
college.
it's a college scholarship.
So should we put a college, they have to get accepted to a
No.
college?
No, because they go trade school.
Right.
Yeah. It's just,
Or
it's
trade
seniors.
school, or whatever,
It's
yeah.
just seniors.
In other words, you're going to
What we
some
did, the
continuing
qualifications is right
education.
down there.
So they say, I was gonna go, but
Scroll down.
decided not to, but I could use the cash, thank you.
For higher education expenses.
Well, but in other words, if it's not tied to a trade school or a college,
So
they get the check and they'll
the
just spend it
student
on
must
whatever.
be a senior in good standing in the school, good academic standing.
Perfect. Yeah,
I
we're
mean-
gonna really whittle it down with the seniors of veterans in
Yeah.
Miami Lakes.
Yeah, so it's basically
Yeah, that's gonna be-
seniors,
it's not good- that's
12th
gonna be a
graders
It'll be like
small
two
end.
people.
of veteran, that's the thing, I think it's gonna be two
Right.
people, and they're gonna get like a $12,000 check, and they're gonna be like, oh, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
What about opening it up to veterans that have kids in college already? And they could qualify to offset their expenses
That live in Miami Lakes.
that live in Miami Lakes.
That would expand it, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, cause maybe we'll only have two. I'd rather have
That's a
10.
windfall. Can you imagine? Only having
No, I
two?
mean, we could
That's
have
a
only,
big
that's
scholarship.
very, very
Yeah.
possible, we're talking about a small population.
We could go ahead
I'm
and
really
do
disappointed
what
how you
Mike
guys
said,
don't have a
and
handle
just
on how many
limit it to
veterans
ten
are in this
people,
Miami
whatever, we
Lakes.
don't have to give.
Okay, so student must be a senior in good standing academically in high
I should
school
know.
or
I've been asking for 2 years.
be currently enrolled in college or trade school
Yeah, there we go.
and in good standing.
In good standing.
I like
Okay,
that, let's
I can
add
add
it.
that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so,
I'll add that as a qualification.
Say
There you
that
go.
again?
So we expanded, now we got 4.
Yay, perfect.
Okay, let's go back to the date. We get so easily distracted. Squirrel.
and on the,
Okay.
on the date, it would be, it's, in order to be most useful to them, they need to know,
Before it's time to enroll.
they need to know before their enrollment.
They're gonna enroll anyway, they're not depending
Well,
on our
yeah, but-
$400 or our 2,000 or a 10,000 or whatever it's gonna be.
The
So-
parents, if it's a significant amount, that could determine where
Yeah,
they go
but
to
you know,
school.
I have to say, really, what is my, the straining factor or constraining factor from the planning point of view is how fast the town can figure out what kind of money they have. I can't work it off of the school year, you know, when the parents need the money, because it's really when the town will have their stuff together to tell us, and they finally figured out in March how much we had. So I would say let's end it January 31st, to give the town at least 2 months to get the accounting done, the application.
Who's gonna
Well, the accounting will be done anyway. We'll just end it January 31st, the application, to see how many people apply.
Ed mentioned that it doesn't have to be a set amount, it could be the proceeds from, or event.
Yeah, I think that's in there,
Don't you wanna keep it open as long as you can, to make sure you capture as many?
Exactly.
Well, we could do that.
And who's gonna go through the
Because,
applications
because,
and
but then
vet
it's
them?
but then the question becomes, when do we
Whose
cut the
job
checks?
is that? You, the town?
No,
The
No,
committee?
well,
We
we
have
got
to
it.
let us before the end of the school year.
The education advisory board, they take all of the applications,
royal
they
we.
sit down and they go through them, you know,
Thought you were funny.
Alright.
redacted copies, and they say, I like student ones, I like student twos, and they decide who gets the money.
Yeah, but they
We're
should
not
be
gonna
read
like
by
this
someone
is-
who understands.
This is just to be.
This
is
is not
it
even,
accurate?
I gotta tell you, it's all about the veteran,
They
and
meet
if the
the
kid's in good
requirements.
if the child's in a good academic standing, you know, then
So what,
it's all about how we vet the veteran. If the veteran's vetted, you know, and has all
Oh,
the
you're
good.
gonna get a report card?
so, no, I think you might wanna
Did you
add
get it?
as a document you have to provide, like, I don't know, a certificate of good standing is what they would ask of me when I was in school.
They
Yeah.
still do that now?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, add that up to, the
Me
checklist. the
That's
checklist.
true. They do print something
Yeah,
that
that
shows
just says you're-
that you're in school.
That you're in school,
Yeah.
you're enrolled in school.
In school with.
It's called a certificate of eligibility, I think, maybe, or
I thought
enrollment.
good standing,
Yeah.
Or enrollment,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get
Yeah,
too.
before the end of this year, they're already.
I'll fix it.
to college.
Yeah, but this, for now.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's obvious that they have to be a veteran's child, because we're asking them.
do we,
But,
Well, you have to write, you have
do we
to.
Yeah,
need to have?
And a
motion
senior
to go
or
into
a
a
person
state
of college.
We don't want someone saying,
definition
oh,
that
well,
we
we
Right.
were in the
that we
grade
voted
area.
on last month?
Folks, I wanna get the
Or
date
in
done
college.
first. I just wanna get the date. Can we
Or in a
focus
trade
on the
school.
date?
January 31st, you got
We
it.
decided,
I wrote it down already.
actually, one,
What's the, what's the,
minutes.
what's the
Oh,
school year
It's
end?
already in the
Does
minutes.
anybody know when the school year end?
Or in
Student
trade
around
school as well.
senior or college.
College or
June.
enroll in
Yeah,
college.
Some of them are gonna, the college.
Yeah.
is gonna end.
Well, I think it was high school, college, or trade school.
Let's do it
Yeah.
like
I'm getting.
April 1st.
April 1st is a fitting day.
That is-
So, yeah, that's,
I don't think it's like a full.
The first day of the second quarter.
That, by the way, was
Quarter
the,
one's over.
that'll
Well,
move 'em up.
Q2,
that was
day
the,
one.
that was the stand-up date of US Southcom.
Let's do April, let's do April, let's do April, or let's
Day
just
of the
do
week
March,
is
let's
it?
just do March 31st, okay.
All right, I
There's
like
a,
it.
there's a,
That's the last day.
there's
I
a
like
date
it.
on the table for March 31st, I make a motion, March
I
31st.
second.
For,
For,
for application.
March
applications
31st
end.
is a Sunday.
Okay, you changed it to March 31st.
Is that okay?
I don't care, I don't know how they're
But
gonna get it to us.
yeah, how they gonna get the application to us?
Why don't
Actually,
you get it
first,
to
I
us?
second.
Did they put it, is there a box on the
You need to
wall?
make a motion
No,
to
I mean,
expand
well,
the
so
application.
what we
Email,
did-
right?
Yeah, what we did for the
Okay.
other scholarships, we have them in person.
By email.
We put it down on the form, submit it, get it to town hall,
They'll make it the day first,
scan it.
we probably do.
Cause we put it in.
Oh, they
So
bring
they'll
it in
just,
by hand?
how will they
Some do.
deliver it?
Some email, way to
Oh,
scan it.
yeah.
They can
or a
deliver it by
fillable
email.
Document online.
Okay.
So March 31st, seconded by Judy. All those in favor say aye. All right, so we have a date.
Who said it and who seconded?
I said it, Judy
No.
seconded,
Oh, you.
and everybody approved it. All right, there's a motion on the table to expand eligibility to include currently enrolled college students who are,
Or technical schools.
or those in technical school in good standing who parent is a Miami Lakes veteran, resident, Miami Lakes
Parent or guardian?
parent, no, I'm right, parent, step-parent,
Step-kids?
guardian, child.
Who is a
or
dependent of, a resident of Miami Lakes?
Of resident of Miami Lakes, who's a veteran,
Who is a veteran?
yes. That's gonna be one
But
person.
not with a purple
It's gonna
heart,
be a half a
not
person.
necessarily.
It's gonna be like one-
Okay, are we?
But it's a plus.
All right, so there's a motion on there to expand it to, the, college, or trade school, dependent of a Miami Lakes veteran, resident veteran. Is there a
Second.
second on
Second.
it?
I'm gonna
Second
do
by
the-
Knickerbocker, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Don't make me repeat what I just said.
Yeah,
Right.
recorded.
All right, we're moving right along, folks. So that's what's going on with the scholarship. All right, so I met with the town council and the committee, and, they approved the flag pole and, the concrete thing, and they approved the wall. They weren't keen on the shell thing, which I kinda knew was a long shot. They also approved the creation of the Veterans Foundation, probably because they realized they have a foundation, remember that they use all the time in Miami Lakes, from the food and wine, as well as supporting, the Optimist Club. So I put them in a nice corner of the dilemma and gave them a nice, protection argument to have to deal with. So, what I need is basically two folks, besides myself, I'm gonna put myself, on the foundation, because I have to incorporate it, then I have to get the 501c3, and I know how to do all that. I just need two people, their addresses and names. If you wanna tell me later after the meeting that you wanna do this, just come see me after the meeting. Because in order to incorporate in South Florida, I need to have three people. So you have to be incorporated before you can become a 501c3. It will cost you nothing. And then once I establish the bylaws, and the bylaws is pretty much gonna be all the money the foundation makes goes to develop the park. Covering costs like,
The rules.
it's gonna cost me money to incorporate, it's gonna cost me money to get the 501c3, and
You can put
I,
me,
I love this committee, but not at the tune of $350. But, what's that?
volunteer.
Okay. I figured you would, I didn't even want to
Yeah,
ask.
right.
You can put me down.
Okay,
Could
so
you
I
imagine
got my
the board you're
volunteers,
allowed to sit in?
thank you very much, everyone. I can have
Another
more,
three?
I can have another.
Oh, yeah.
You too, Nicole? All right. All right, good. So, once we get that foundation, I'll incorporate it, I'll work on it this weekend and get the 501c3. I'll get the EIN, then that way I'll be able to open an account. I'll throw some of my fund in there as a first donation, to open it, and, we'll get cracking on, fundraising and stuff,
And I think, going back to the fan shell, we're talking about, if the town understands that we could possibly get donations from major corporations, where there will be a wall and said this is
Well, I mean, I think we're
thanks to.
the way I still envisioned our original design, where we'll have the flags here and the wall there, so we'll still have that gap,
I
because
think,
we still have to have an area for the stage for July 4th.
I think the clamshell sank with the water pad.
Yeah, no, actually, the mayor was really supportive. The mayor and, Councilman Garcia were really supportive. It was basically just Diegas and, Rano.
Not Tony?
Tony was kinda like, kinda on the fence. He was actually kinda upset something else happened.
Oh,
When you have a path to the funding and it's laid out with
Yeah.
foundation, then you approach it and it's.
Well, I think, you know, and I kinda understand where they're coming from, they're probably looking at, all right, let's see how successful you guys are. I mean, let's start, you know, let's put a, can you make a wall?
why don't you
Can
get one
you
of
make a
the
flag?
the lady
Can
from
you make a
Military
flag?
Affairs and put her on it, cause she wants to do it too.
Who's that?
The lady, I met her at, at
You
our
mean the
last-
shell, the shell?
Dottie, yeah, she's
The
all
clam-
into
the
it, you
clam
should do a
shell?
a joint
Yeah, she
venture
was.
with them, with her.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I- every time I do something with another committee, I end up feeling like I'm doing like, it's not an equal partnership.
Oh.
Right.
It's
But it-
it's 90-10.
And oh, by the way, it's our park.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think,
But
I think
everybody's
if
gonna
we,
use it.
I think if we have success, I think if we have success on these two items, and that includes the Battlefield Cross, because the Battlefield Cross, you know, I envision being right front and center where the flags are, you know, it's something we'll be using for Memorial Day ceremony all the time.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's the plan for the Battlefield Cross, and I also envision setting up the Battlefield Cross like we talked about, Michael. Now that we have that approval, we have the foundation that we can set up, I wanna put the Battlefield Cross, I wanna put it temporarily inside the Mary Collins Center, put a poster up there with a nice QR code so where you can donate to our foundation so we could tilt the park. Kinda use it to advertise, you know? So that's what we're doing on that. Okay, thank you, Nicole. Now I got 3 volunteers, I'm good. All right, Patriot Day. Larry,
Okay,
we have a working PA system, Jonathan?
I've been hunting down a generator, we should have it.
okay, let's begin with the grass cut.
I have a feeling it's gonna be one of
We're
these.
we're getting to
Jeremy.
be within the 72
I
hour
spoke to
window.
Jeremy and I assured him that Jonathan would remind him that we definitely need the grass cut prior to Saturday. So hopefully that's been done, I'll be out there to see it. I just wanna go over these items. and
It
just-
should, I think it should be tomorrow.
Okay, just chime in, you know, the next thing will be the inventory of flags. I was hoping to get with, Jonathan tomorrow, and sometime tomorrow, get the flags in the boxes out by so that we come there Saturday morning, they're easily to get, we don't have to run around looking for them, they're all there in one spot, ready to grab. And we need to coordinate that tomorrow. So we can set a time that you can meet me there, and anyone else that wants to be there.
I can be there.
Well, you need to get the flags from where
The
tomorrow?
flags
Off
at
the
the
shelves and all over
The
the
flags at the
place.
Mary Collins Center, wherever they are, and to gather them all up, make sure we all have them. I wanted to check also to see if we have the 3-foot markers in there, if not, I'll go to the hardware store and I'll get more. But we need to identify them at the Mary Collins Center, set them in an area, so when we go there Saturday morning, they're good to go.
What time tomorrow?
That's John, it's up to Jonathan.
Jonathan,
Don't forget the rope.
pick a time.
I mean,
Don't forget.
I'm here from 8 to, my normal time's 5, so
You want me to meet me there, or somebody at 8 o'clock in the morning, or
if you wanna do 8.
you give me a time and I'll be there,
If you wanna do 8, we can do 8.
8 o'clock. You good? Okay,
Larry, don't forget rolls of rope that you can do, not 3 feet, not
Well,
3 feet.
I like to, I'll talk to you about that. Also on the flags, and I wanna thank Pedro especially, because we had a little bit of a situation with Carolina this year, that even though she communicated and said she was going to have them for us, it wasn't until about 2 hours ago that she actually called me and said, I have the flags. Her guy sent me a text, and sometime tomorrow, we'll be picking up the 500 flags over from her warehouse. And I'll keep those,
Check them to see if they need to be ironed.
no, the brand new ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and the ones we have, we put them away properly last year and restored in containers, so they should be good to go without problems. But I just wanna double check them tomorrow in case there is some last minute work to be done.
If there's an emergency, we
Um,
can punch it.
The tape and the 3-foot markers, I have the tape, the 3-foot markers should be in those boxes, but if not, I'll take care of that.
But Woody, you don't know if we'll have any or not.
Pardon?
That's
Okay,
the sidewalk.
the chairs that are inside the Mary Collins Center, the podium, and the sound system. We need to make sure those are all good to go. Now, if we're using the sound system that runs by batteries, we have to make sure that's plugged in tomorrow, so that when Bill gets out there, we don't have a repeat.
Oh, no, so,
That's Saturday.
we're,
He's
we're,
getting a generator.
we want the,
Now, we have to get it ready Friday, so so Sunday, it's gonna be ready.
I already have Ernesto charging the backup.
Okay,
I'm gonna refer to the USB one as the backup, that's the one that died on us on Memorial Day.
right.
that's charging, it will be our backup, cause I'm trying to get the Fender. It's just a matter of, facilities moving it from Royal Oaks to Mary Collins, cause I think that's where the Fender is at the moment.
And that has Bluetooth, so we can plug the
No,
backlight.
the Fender is not, it's wired, so we still might wanna be able to use the USB. So you can Bluetooth that, cause you have used that in the past for your music, but
Well, we need, I don't wanna be out there Sunday morning fumbling around with it, I'd like to get it set up Saturday, so it's good to go, and not have to worry about it the
Sound
last
check.
minute.
well,
If you want it out there in the weather, that's the only thing I'll be worried about. You don't know
Do
what
it
the weather's gonna
inside
be
then,
overnight.
right where it's at.
we can check on Sunday morning. I'll be there really early on Sunday.
Yeah, but I don't wanna wait Sunday morning to see if it works, and we're plugging it, does it work, testing, I like to know we got everything all hooked up and know how to do it before Sunday.
Do it Saturday.
I don't
You
wanna-
you don't
You
have
wanna-
to, leave-
you
you don't
wanna
have to leave it
object.
out at night, you just wanna make sure.
You
that-
wanna
Yeah,
object.
exactly, just wanna make sure it's working, there's not.
Okay, he just wants to do an object Saturday.
Right.
Right.
You can do it
Make sure
out
it's
to
working
the
for
Mary
us.
Collins Center.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can do the Mary
exactly,
Collins Center.
exactly.
That way we won't have to leave it out on.
And the same, I believe all the chairs are in there that we need. I know that the veterans, the American Legion Post 144 will be in there having a meeting Saturday morning. They're gonna be using some of the chairs. The chairs they're using, plus whatever other chairs we need to put under the 6 tents. And my understanding is that those tents will be available tomorrow,
It'd be
Saturday
picked-
afternoon.
Saturday to be
To
picked
be
up,
picked up?
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we have a volunteer to pick those up?
I can pick them up.
Did we all see the email?
I can pick them up. Saturday,
You want me to send you the address? Address, time, and contact?
he's not gonna bring it to the town, the fair?
That's what I thought.
Saturday will be a good time.
He'll be at the farmer's market, but that is the
Yeah,
pickup.
farmer's market.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, where's the pickup?
no,
I'll-
farmer's market.
The farmer's market,
Farmer's-
4:30 to 5:30.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, down on Main Street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need
okay.
to just hang on to them until Sunday.
Yeah, just tell me, yeah, give me the point of contact, time, and pick up, and I'll pick them up. Throw them in my truck.
Okay, we're gonna need water for 2 days, we're gonna need water on Saturday morning, very important, because we have 9 o'clock, we have, how many volunteers,
I
Mike?
think there's about 100, Larry.
About 100 volunteers coming out from Mary Goldman High School. Barbara Golden High School,
Yeah.
and they get thirsty out there. We also, I believe it's requested that we have donuts or some sort of snacks for them. Last year we provided an energy bar, we wanna get some energy bars, some donuts and whatever snacks for the kids that are out there working on those flags along with the water. So, and we also wanted to have some coffee in the morning, both mornings for the people that are early setting up. So,
Wait a second, now you got two separate dates. Now you got the 9th, which
Okay,
is
we're
set
gonna-
up.
okay.
What we need is water,
15 cases of cold water will be delivered at 8:30 in the morning on Saturday the 9th.
all right.
okay, what about the?
And
what
you said
about
you want
Sunday
some
the 10th?
snack?
Well, the faculty member for the National Honor Society and the Law Society that are providing the kids has said, hey, can I make a request? Would it be too much to ask that you guys provide donuts for the kids? There'll be a lot of hungry kids.
Okay,
They're gonna show up, Larry, the time had changed, they're gonna show up at 8:30 instead of 9, because there was some concern about the heat. But last year, we paid for those out of pocket, and it was, the ever-present issue of getting reimbursed, so, I don't know if we have, committee money to do that, but, I think we got, 6 dozen last year, and Larry bought a bunch of energy bars. We ended up with a bunch of energy bars left over,
yeah.
so we thought if we could get maybe 10 dozen, they used to have a special here at Dunkin' Donuts, you buy one, you get one free, I don't know if they do that anymore, but.
So he was bringing in the, Sunday morning, 9:30.
We're talking about Saturday.
That's
Saturday.
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 What about
Saturday.
Doritos and stuff?
Or Vicky's Bakery, the pastelitos maybe instead of the
Donuts?
donuts.
It's kinda last minute to be asking.
Yeah, it is.
I'd be going to donuts.
I think donuts would be easy, we don't have to
Yeah,
buy
okay.
everybody. I think
It's just how we're gonna fund them, that's the question. Do we have the ability to do that,
I
or?
don't know, it's just last minute.
In our report, did we ask for money just for the honerarium?
On
Because
Saturday.
I know we put something in
Yes,
the
we
report.
did ask for honorarium,
But just the honorarium,
just the honorarium. I don't think we asked for food or anything else, did we? I don't
or like
recall.
any dollar amount
No.
above the honorarium?
The honorarium, yeah, we set it at, I think it was
50.
$50.
Did we set an amount out for this event, a number? Do we have a line item for that?
No, we don't.
There's no line item for this event.
This is.
We
that's
ran into an
the-
issue last year because we didn't,
Yeah,
because it was a new event,
That's the core of the.
and
And
it
there's
wasn't
no line
intent.
item for Memorial Day either.
Yeah,
There's no
it wasn't-
line item for these events. And
We-
that's something that we need to address.
We did submit that, but it got somehow lost in the shuffle.
We're
last
probably-
year.
Yeah, we're probably talking $200 for some coffee and those
Yeah.
donuts. So.
If we can't do it, perhaps we could commit to just throwing in $10 a piece. Would that be,
Yeah.
rather than one person pays 200, you know? I mean, would that be reasonable, or are we gonna try and get it from the town?
Yeah, I mean,
Mr. Chair?
that's fine, I mean, that's.
I mean, it might be easier to pick, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the way it works.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
easier to
everyone
pull it out of
chips
your
in.
own pocket than work the system.
I guess the question is, who's getting the donuts and stuff? Who's picking them up? I'm picking up tents on Saturday morning, so
We can.
we can come up with money now, who has the task?
We can come up with $100 from the.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, it'd be whoever doesn't have the $10, they could go pick it up. Here's my $10. Could you work out the bad piece?
I think the young people who don't have cash are the.
Give that to,
No, it's fine, Bill. Put them together.
All right.
All right, we got, what do we got? We got 20. We got 40. Thank you, 50. 60.
Yeah,
70.
I don't know if we have to for the donuts. I mean, he's gonna have $80, I mean,
It's about 200.
that's a lot of donuts.
I'm telling you,
There's a lot of kids, and they,
What
boy,
cost-
they made a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
by the way, there's
They sh-
three
There's
troops.
another 80, come on.
Boy
Boy
Scouts is 247, 566, and Girl Scouts 902,
Yeah.
that they'll be there at 8 o'clock.
All right, so he basically has 200 bucks or something like
80.
that.
Bill donated $100. 60, 80, 100, 10,
He'll just use it for gambling anyway, so.
20, 125. I'll chip in, I'll chip in $40, $50, whatever. I think we got it, we're good.
We're good,
We got it.
Alright,
we got enough for 300 donuts.
please put that in the minutes that it was self-funded, so we know where we got the money last year.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Put it in the minutes, the committee.
So how much money did
Put money
the
on the
committee
table.
donate to this nice cause? To our.
Yeah.
Leave it on the
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
One time I got.
Yeah, nice.
You're gonna be out there in the morning anyway.
That's Saturday.
All right, note to myself, if I'm gonna rob anybody, it's Larry Borman. He's walking around with Benjamins.
Nice credit cards.
Let the minutes reflect.
Oh, gosh, I got no time, I wanna move the meeting forward, we'll count this afterwards, all right?
Okay.
Make sure we ask Officer Amador next year.
Okay, so-
Yeah,
Sponsor
I-
it.
So we'll pick up the tens.
Well, you
Coffee.
realize he contributed because it's for donuts. right?
Coffee.
I did, I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
I was waiting.
You can be there for the donuts, too.
Okay, coming on Saturday morning, it's to be there at 8 o'clock. I think is 8 o'clock a good time to start?
Oh, for the, our folks, yeah, I
Yeah,
suppose.
at 8 o'clock, what we do traditionally, we've done in the past, is we put the initial lines out and set up the first couple of rows of flags.
Right.
So the next, so when they come, boom, we just
Bill
start
from
moving
there,
right on
yeah.
down the line. So, so far, we have, Bill, Mike, myself.
I can be there at 8.
Okay,
So
Chad.
9, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we got 4 people. That should do it.
That's enough, yeah.
We're good.
And I'll be showing up at the tents
Too many
later on.
people makes it
Well, the
crazy.
tents are Sunday, this is Saturday morning. I'm talking about.
No, I believe, I'm picking up the tents on Saturday, correct?
Saturday
Yes.
afternoon.
Saturday
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, all right,
So we don't need the tents until Sunday
all
morning.
right, so I will show up to that thing.
All right, so we need, okay, so we have volunteers to set up. When, on Sunday morning, let me skip over to Sunday for a minute. On Sunday morning, we're gonna need volunteers to set the tents up,
Tents, chairs,
the chairs up, basically give all the
PA
details,
system.
the PA, all the stuff. So we need volunteers to be there early. What time is the event start? So
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
So
9
I've,
o'clock. So we should be there, I would think, 8 o'clock? That would give us time. Okay, and again, we'll bring coffee for the arrivals. on
Starts at 9 o'clock.
I say yeah,
Can be
yeah,
over.
9 o'clock. I say yes on the volunteers. I guess this is sort of an aside, like for Memorial Day, we sort of did discuss and everything just kind of magically appeared. That's because janitorial was at Mary Collins and
So,
I let them know to have chairs out and I'd let them know again for this time that we need chairs out and this table out for the bell and, the tents will be there. So I'm still finalizing the process with janitorial. that's gonna be at Mary Collins to help us set up, but I would still definitely push to have volunteers Sunday morning.
Absolutely, okay.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing I wanted to check inside, if you can, if we can get some bunting material or some other, for the tables that are around there, that are set up like for the bell, put bunting on it to make it look a little nicer. You know what I'm talking about?
You said you want me to look in the center?
Bunting material, which you put around the stage, you
The
know,
red, white, and
the
blue.
curtains, red, white, and blue.
Con-
I usually bring them, I put them around my fire truck and stuff, you know, in the water tables. If we can get some for the, you know, for the.
For the bell table?
For the bell table,
Hmm.
would be a good idea.
I think we provided it the last couple of years, but I don't know if you guys have it.
I don't.
I think we bought it from Amazon or Party City, that's where we got it from.
So nobody has it sitting
If
still?
we don't have it, I've got some I can bring in, I guess, not very much. Okay, volunteers for Sunday morning, to help set up Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Now, we got, this is Saturday, we already have, this is for Sunday also.
Yeah, the
Sunday
10th.
morning, 8
What
o'clock.
time?
Chad,
800.
088.
okay, myself, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I'll be there, you'll be there.
And I think Sergio, Sergio's to go will have all their setup, right?
Yes.
Pedro? They'll have their
50
food and
people.
their, yeah, their.
They won't be out till
details.
9:30. What time are they coming?
9:30 they'll be here.
9:30.
Okay,
So we'll already be underway when they.
yeah,
when
they'll be
get
setting up,
started.
all right, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right, okay, so we're good with, also the same, after the event is over, one of the things we ran into Memorial Day, after the event was over, everybody just walked away. And
Right.
Everything was left there. Well, we had a couple of volunteers that came out and got it done, but if we can get a couple of volunteers that would stay a little bit afterwards and just help us put the chairs
I'll
back,
stay for it.
okay?
I'll be
It
out.
doesn't- If you have, you know, 3, 4 people, they're talking about 15, 20 minutes, not a big deal. Music, we're not gonna have outside music this year, we're going to have, I suggested bagpipe music because of the type of event that it is, like, you know, patriotic bagpipe music that would be, and we would play that over the PA system.
Pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah, pre-recorded.
So there's a station on Pandora that plays just that bagpipe, so. The programs we have,
Yeah, we're working on changing a little bit of it,
okay,
but, yeah, you can pass it around.
I'm moving into the event, I'd like to go ahead and Bill take over from there because he's gonna coordinate all the,
Okay, it's gonna start out with welcoming remarks, and then we're gonna go right into, the national anthem and the evocation. The national anthem's gonna be sang by Brianna Correa, she sang in our last few events, and she's locked on. And then the evocation will be non-denominational by ISMO, I've asked them twice, and I'll remind them then as well. Then, I'll make a few more comments just to introduce basically some first responders that I hope, and I may just be drafting them, right? You guys are gonna be doing the color work?
Yes.
Okay. So it'll be simple, I'll just say march on the colors and you guys know.
And we're gonna bring, at 8, we're gonna be there so we can set up the cars around the flags,
Okay,
our own cars.
all right,
around the flag.
that'll be great. And then, what I'm gonna do is pass around, what I'm gonna have is sort of like the same thing we had for, Memorial Day is, they don't have award citation necessarily, all these folks who are first responders. I look at the event in two ways, we're remembering the victims and we're honoring the heroes, okay? Because I find that, we have kind of convoluted the idea of hero and victim in American society, and that's been really a mess. And that's caused, everyone to believe that if they're a victim, especially if they're an intersectional victim, they're heroic in some way. No, there's a real big difference about heroes and victims. So we're honoring the heroes in this ceremony, and the heroes are all the first responders, who were police department folks, fire department folks, and actually some off-duty military, and those actually FBI folks that ran in there and died also. It's 342 of them. They were given the Heroes Medal that was specifically made for this event, for 9/11. Jonathan, I do want to, it's not just the World Trade Center, it's also the Pentagon. So I just don't want just to
No,
work.
I was working on, I'm trying to make logos
Yeah,
for every
so-
event, and
Yeah.
when you think of the.
If we can,
when
I think if you can have one with the Pentagon shape in there,
When I think of
and-
like the logo
Yeah,
for
I
the
think there's
Patriot
one-
Day event,
yeah.
it's gonna be the towers, the field in front of the towers, and all of that encapsulated in a Pentagon, so you get sort of all
Yeah.
The third.
the
best.
fronts of the.
You're thinking
A
about
lot of
the
folks
third
forget the
thing, too?
Pentagon was struck as well, but, anyway, so the idea is I'm gonna have a police officer read the biography of, the police, New York Police Department officer that died in 9/11. And I'm gonna have two fire department folks, Maura Smith. Her story is actually really incredible because she ran in there and saved somebody, and then somebody, some cub reporter, camera guy, snapped her photo, bringing somebody out, and then she ran back in there. And that's the last photo of her alive, is her bringing somebody out. So, and then we're gonna talk about these, I'm gonna have firefighters talk about these two firefighters. And Jonathan did a great thing, he did it for Memorial Day, he has QR codes on the little pamphlet, so if anything happens, and you can't hear the person, you do the QR code and it pulls up what you're gonna reading about them. After that's done, I know we've done this in the past, and Michael, I'm gonna ask, for your advice on this, because you did this in the past. We had this bell ringing ceremony that the firefighters do, They do a bell ringing ceremony, they brought a bell in the past, and it would ring the bell, and it's, I think 3 rings with 3 intervals of 3 rings, which usually symbolizes the passing of a firefighter, or the end of the watch too. I don't know if we reached out to, who's the fire department guy?
Fire's gonna be there.
Are they gonna bring the bell?
No, that's gonna be Ed's bell, I already have it.
Okay, and is somebody gonna ring the bell? Do we have somebody? to do it?
Nelson Rodriguez.
Because I would
Nelson,
describe,
Nelson will do it, Nelson will do it.
I would describe the ceremony for them, I'd rather have somebody who is a firefighter describe the
I
ceremony.
think it was meant to be, Mark Chambers last year, and I think it ended up being another gentleman that did it. It's
Okay, we'll
supposed to be
figure,
a
we'll
fire
figure it
rep.
out.
The,
We
the
can-
police chief from the Station 64 did it the first year,
Fire
and then,
chief, fire chief.
fire chief, sorry, and then last year was his, stand-in did it.
Yeah, that's what.
So the assumption would be that they would be the ones responsible for doing it, but
All right, so,
I don't know that we have a specific person though, so.
yeah, they're in the program, and we'll figure it out, it's one of those things, we'll figure it out when we get there, right? So like, we're gonna figure out who the readers are when we get there. I'm just gonna grab people, you're reading, you know how to read this. You're a firefighter, read this. After the bell ringing ceremony is done, then, the ceremony will be over, and, we'll just have our pastelitos and all that stuff and clean up.
Oh, I don't wanna to cut off the event, but there are park pavilion rentals, starting in the morning, so I think for Memorial Day, we didn't stick around too long, I just wanna, say after the event is over, we shouldn't necessarily
Linger?
linger.
Yeah, no one's gonna linger.
No, I know, but
No one lingers.
people see food and they, I don't think that's the day for it.
We're gonna need to collect all the names of all the people that are out there, the volunteers, to make sure that they get their community service hours.
I have a form for it.
Well, they, you might remember, Larry, they did that through Ernesto. He has a relationship with, the folks from Barbara Goldman. Any of the additional folks, then it would be probably a good idea if we had the forms and but I think the Boy Scouts kind of do their own thing. And then the high school kids are doing theirs through their own mechanism. They don't need us to validate it.
I can maybe bring some just in case, if there are any that don't fall in those categories, but, yeah, just to have maybe.
It'd be nice if we get the names of whoever the reading of the people from the firemen or the first responders that do show up, so that we can go ahead and get them a thank you letter out.
Yeah, that'd be nice, I mean, I could do that.
Mm.
But they're gonna be voluntold, so why not?
I think it's gonna be a good event, I think we have everything covered, I think that, it's gonna come
Yeah,
together.
it's gonna be a nice event. I mean,
What's the attire for us?
This,
This?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
we generally wear, normally the khaki pants if you have them,
yeah.
with the blue shirt. That's the
I just wear my black, work polo. one to stay cool,
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
Do you have a
but
shirt that you
it's
can
from
wear?
Apple Black ones.
I do have a shirt for them, but I didn't bring the box, so I will get
We
you.
can do it
Saturday
Saturday.
morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bring the box.
You see, when you're built like him, you don't mind taking it.
Kidding.
You are correct about that.
All right, that sounds good. Okay,
Got it?
moving on to,
Sergio, apostrophe, go.
moving on to new business.
I think we added
Go Miami.
We added
Battlefield Cross.
Battlefield Cross. Michael, you wanted to bring up the Battlefield Cross?
Yes, please, if I could, Bill.
Yes.
Because it's, now that we have a bigger vision, which is kind of what we had discussed previously, bringing in other components, not just sticking the Battlefield Cross out there by itself. I just wanted to include for the minutes to cover ourselves, I didn't mean for everybody to get a copy necessarily, but if you have that. Ed, could you please pass it down to Bill? We'll just include it. That was in,
Everybody has.
oh, you did, in June, but I'm just requesting that we add it.
We all have, yeah, we do.
Ed, what's the verbiage when you're adding an attachment?
Like an exhibit to the
Yeah,
minutes?
Adding
Yeah, I'll get it to Dina, and she can stitch it into
okay,
the.
very good.
Adding a memo for the record.
Yeah, you know,
I'll-
like the congressional
Jonathan,
hearings when
I'll
they say,
scan
you
it
know,
and add it
without,
to
anyway. So we approved the Battlefield Cross in June of 2022, and then we were required to go to town council, and prior to appearing in front of town council, we had to submit that memo, which was requesting that we move $10,000 from our banners to purchase the Battlefield Cross. The Battlefield Cross, the base, and the plaque. And what they voted on at the time was that we would earmark the monies from our '22 budget for the Battlefield Cross, and no later than, per our proposal, September 22, we would purchase the items. My understanding is we have the Battlefield Cross.
Yes.
We have the base, and the plaque we were going to do, you might remember, it was thought that we could perhaps get it for Veterans Day last year. And then we thought, oh, we're not gonna make it, but we could get it for Memorial Day this year. And then we said, well, we might not be able to get it, but we could get it for Veterans Day. But now that we have the foundation, obviously, we're gonna, at some point in the future, it will be incorporated. But again, what the council voted on was that money would be spent from September 22. So now you have a record
That was,
that was approved.
Right.
My understanding is that we have the base and the cross, but we still don't have the plaque, although we voted on that several times. We've adjusted the wording,
Right.
we changed the dates, and we still haven't purchased it because now we're waiting to incorporate it in, a larger scheme. So whenever that gets done, the hope would be, especially as we started talking about building it out with other pieces, that we don't lose sight of the purpose of the park. And I know there's been some discussion, we don't wanna turn it into Arlington, we don't wanna turn it into a morgue, but we want to respectfully honor the sacrifice of veterans who gave their lives in combat. That's the idea of the Battlefield Cross. And so while we can include, the cow, we did dress up.
no, the cow was killed.
Yeah, we dressed up the entrance, you might remember, that was completed. But the heart of the park, we felt at the time, was that Battlefield Cross. And as we continue, expanding our vision, I would humbly request that we keep in mind that was the purpose. The renaming of the park we did on our watch, we were able to get that done, so that was,
No, I can guarantee you the Battlefield Cross will be used, with those memorials that we're gonna be putting up. I mean, it's definitely gonna be incorporated, it's not gonna be lost.
It was used on Memorial Day.
It was used on Memorial Day,
Right, yeah.
and we put a
Yeah.
flags in front of it. So, yeah, we're gonna,
but I understand there's been other ideas that have been floated, and just as a reminder, what the council voted on in July of '22 was they approved the funding for the Battlefield Cross. And so there is some expectation, I believe, legally we're bound, unless we go back and, in fact, I don't know if we
I don't
can,
think
since we're
anyone's
2 years
suggesting,
after
I
the
don't think
fact.
anyone's
That
suggesting.
money's been committed.
I don't think anyone's suggesting not to use it as part of, in the memorial
Can I jump in?
Yeah, please.
So, I think last time we spoke about the statue was when Jeremy was here. If you remember, I think that may have been in March or April. The issue that we ran into was we approved the plaque wording, but we had to run into the permit issue. And that's the issue that we've been running into. We were approved $10,000. The permit as it stands would push us to about 12, but at this point, admin and the town manager are saying we want it all done, all the checks delivered, not necessarily the statue in the ground, but all that done by 9:30 of this year, so, that's, at least, I know your point was more of the essence
At
of
the end
the
of this
statue.
month?
Right, yeah. that
They
is
wanna
this
put
month.
this into the ground at the end
No,
of
no,
this
no.
month?
No, we need to have checks cut, we want checks cut by 9:30, because the permit issue dragged it on way too long. And now
In regards to what?
The only thing remaining is the plaque, right?
but aside from that, the permit is the.
What's the
is
permit
real-
for?
To have, you have to get the statue engineered, by like a proper,
See, if we incorporate this into the
They
other thing that
actually
Bill's
have
talking about.
to make sure it's sized and properly grounded and everything else, so it ain't gonna fall over in the next.
Yeah, I hear you, but
Rainstorm.
where are we gonna do this? I mean, we got a bigger construct now that we wanna do, and we're gonna,
so our wording.
we may be moving it, in other words. We
Mm.
may be moving it to in front of the flagpoles.
And the thought is wherever we put it will likely be permanent, it's not going to be a mobile
Right,
display.
I think upstairs what it is,
Put it on
we've basically skipped another fiscal year, and it's not in the ground yet, essentially. And I know we're having additional talks of this new veterans master plan, essentially.
Yeah,
Just on our end, the reason it hasn't moved yet is because that.
and that's good, don't move it, because now we have a bigger master plan we wanna do, and we wanna incorporate it in the right way.
I'll take that upstairs, but they are very like, okay, we want this
I wanna
checks
get that money out.
cut now, cause it's kinda use it or lose it with the money.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get the engineering and the permitting done, like as a general, if we're still deciding on where the statue would go. But that's on our end. I know it's, I guess, convenient that the statue hasn't been put into place, but, you know.
Well, I mean, I'd like to discuss that, because from a fiscal law point of view and government funding point of view, I'm pretty sure that amount of money does not have a specific line on it, it's just a general fund, because it's tiny. It's fiscal dust, we used to call it, at the 06 level.
They were
So
making the
that's
argument
just-
that you couldn't carry it over unless
It
was.
is use or lose, but it goes
Like a
back into the
donation,
general fund.
if it was a
Yeah.
donation.
Yeah, it goes
It
back
does.
into the general fund,
Yeah. it
and
does.
then it's used or lose, but, that's all it means, but as far as, I just don't think it'd be prudent to put it somewhere and then say, well, we really want it over here now.
But would that mean then you just go to the council, since they voted on it? I mean, and we made the recommendation based on our committee vote.
Right.
You just go back and say, we'd like to amend what we
That's probably what I'll do.
previously.
What I'll do is I'll probably submit a letter to the town council requesting that, they hold off on any funding and allow the foundation to fundraise and to, help establish Veterans Park,
But I mean, I think the funding and the approval are two different things. We got the approval by the vote of the council.
Yeah.
So I think we're obligated by the, what we wrote in the memo, which was we would have it done by a prescribed time. The funding is town manager stuff. I think maybe going to the town council might be a separate issue. Saying, hey, we'd like to amend it because we've amended the project at this point.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll write them a letter asking to amend this memo and amend the project.
Yeah.
Do we wanna put that to a vote?
Okay,
Cause
good
they'll be
idea.
speaking on behalf of the.
Yeah, it's a good idea. There's a motion on the table right now to amend the finalization of the placement of the battlefield cross until we have a better idea as to the entire plan for Memorial Park, or Veterans Park. Anyone?
Second.
Second, Leo, all right. Second by Pedro. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good recommendation, Michael, thank you. Yeah, cause, I hate to have everything else come in place and also we're like, why is that sticking out there like a Thor,
And you don't want-
And we wanna
you
use
don't
it for
wanna
and we
move
wanna use it for ceremonies, we want it in front of the flags.
Well,
You know?
it should be, it should, like this last year, it should be central.
Yeah.
To Memorial. Day.
Exactly right, it should be centered among in the flags.
And where is the stone, the cube, the
pedestal?
base?
It's in Mary Collins.
It is in the back?
Yeah, in the storage.
Well,
That
still,
stone could
we're
probably be
filling that
incorporated
storage
into
room
the,
up, aren't we?
that stone itself could probably be incorporated into the.
Into like the design, the master
Yeah.
design.
Well, that was the
Yeah.
idea, but I think that the stone's about 200 pounds, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I tell you what, well, that wasn't, the statue wasn't so bad,
No, it was bad.
it was
It
bad.
was bad.
The statue's about 100 pounds, I think.
Well, Larry dropped it on my finger, so.
And did it break?
Oh, I had a. We don't have to get into that.
I think your blood added to the whole thing. Added to the
At
atmosphere.
what cost?
So it's funny too.
Blood in that statue was pretty motivating. And it wasn't mine, so it was good. All right, new business, Grand Marshal nominee. Folks, think about Grand Marshal,
Yeah, we
to
have
be
no,
nominated.
we have no nominees yet.
Yeah.
I think so. But, I don't know, you guys can vote for each other, you guys, I'm sure you guys know people.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna approach somebody, if you wanna ask if you wanna nominate them, approach them after the meeting.
Does it have to be a Miami Lakes resident?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'll send you the,
It was in the last
Or
year.
Miami Lakes
I'll
resident?
send you the press release,
We can.
so that maybe you can share it with
If
other
you,
people.
no, because you work in the town, even though you work as a volunteer.
Nah, he's a member of
You
Langley.
work in the town,
And they can get a
Yeah.
scholarship.
Yes, right now you work at the town.
you qualify.
With,
Yeah, I guess
with
they-
regard to the Grand Marshal, we had suggested pulling people from outside of the town and getting the Southcom commander or Marco Rubio, or, somebody else, but the town staff said it had to be,
Miami Lakes
a
resident.
Miami Lakes resident, but I think we get to establish who is
Yeah,
because
It's
it's,
election season again.
it
they're
goes
all-
through our
all the
committee,
numbers are
so I think we can describe who we want to have, and I don't know if limiting to a Miami Lakes resident will give us perhaps the best quality. I think we might wanna expand the pool.
But now we made amendments, we made it last time.
I think the real pressing
Living
issue
work,
was.
Quality was an issue.
Oh, we said that, but I'm just
That's
saying.
Yeah, that was the last year.
I think, I hear what you're saying, I think we have some quality people, and I just think we just need to get focused on it. That's why I'm just put it on the agenda to get people focused on it. All right, do we, have any other concerns? Yes, sir.
Yeah, if I may, this is going to be my last, meeting. So, I've submitted my resignation to the town. November marks 5 years since I retired from the military. And at that same time, I joined, the committee, in large part thanks to a speech I heard Gary make, where he talked about George Washington at the end of the Revolutionary War when the Continental Army disbanded. And Washington challenged the people as they were turning in their weapons and heading back to their farms that, hey, it's not over yet. Just because you've given up your service in the military, I would encourage you to stay involved in your communities. So go back to your communities and participate. So even though I felt like I had things I wanted to do with my life, I said, yeah, it kind of resounded with me. And then, as you know, last year was a very difficult time, death of a couple of family members, but I pushed on in large part thanks to you guys, shouldering some of the weight. But now I kind of feel that many of you know John Maxwell, the leadership guru, and who says that you can't have success without a successor. And so I think, Bill, I feel very confident that Bill and the folks that we have on the committee can continue to do an amazing job. So I feel blessed to have been with everybody, and I'm going to use this opportunity to bow out and address some of my personal issues and look for other opportunities. Now that I'm retired, coming on 5 years, I feel like I'm really retired. So I wanted to just say thank you to everybody. It really was very meaningful, and I really enjoyed getting to know every one of you, so thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Michael, thank you very much for, all your service and what you've done. I am fortunate to be able to stand on the shoulders of giants, as they said. And you've done such a great job and made this so easy with all the relationships you set up, that I was able just to smoothly transition and get into this, and I really appreciate it. And fair winds in the following season.
Yes, thank you very much, Colonel.
But I will see you again.
Yep, yep.
All right,
Sounds
do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Uh,
Oh,
I'll make the motion to
Oh, you
adjourn.
make-
Michael's last motion. Michael Cruz, last motion to adjourn. I get a second it?
Second?
Second, all those in favor? Aye.